A quick thanks to American Giant for sponsoring this video. Alright, so my common projects are starting to look like a pair of golden goose and need replacing, and so, obviously, spending $1,700 was the only reasonable way to accomplish this. So, in this video, we're going to be testing 6 minimal leather sneakers across the price spectrum to figure out which is the best shoe on the market and which is the best value for money. We'll run through the fit, the leather, the silhouette, and the build quality of each of these shoes before I show y'all which I chose to replace these beat up common projects. Please take a quick second to like this video and subscribe if y'all haven't already. If we hit 10K before the end of the year, I'll be sure to run a giveaway on one of these pairs as a little thanks. Let's get into it. You may be asking why leather sneakers. I've spent years wearing fabric Converse and Vans prior to trying a leather variant. I found that they were so much easier to keep clean and they went with literally everything. I went through many different cheaper brands before investing in some common projects. I look at these through a cost per wear lens. The fact that I've worn these 4 to 5 times a week for nearly 5 years and they still have some life in them make these much cheaper per wear by a long shot. It's an added bonus that they look much nicer throughout the way. So although the sticker price may seem high for even the cheapest ones on this list, I only wanted to include those that would last. For reference, I'm typically a size 9.5 in most shoes and a 42 on the European scale. We'll start with the cheapest and work our way up. These are called the Premier Low from Thursday Boots and made a lot of headlines when they first launched for their affordability. They clock in at $129 and were ordered in a size 9.5 in the coffee colorway. The color did differ slightly from the images online to the pair I received. It's a tad lighter than expected and barely has that dark brown to light brown gradient that I really liked when I saw it on their website. The leather on these felt the softest compared to the rest of the shoes featured today. The outer is made of a full grain American leather and the inner is lined with the super soft sheepskin. The shoes had a very strong leather smell to them upon first unboxing, which filled the entire room. The insole was made with the vachetta, which is that creamish colored leather you see on Louis Vuitton bags. It's an added premium that I don't expect at this price point, but Thursday claims it helps with the shock absorption and comfort. These are also the most plush out of all the shoes, with the pretty thick foam between the outer and inner leather in the tongue and in the heel area. The soles on these are ones that Thursday custom developed in-house. It features 2 different types of rubber, a softer one on the sides to help with flexibility, and a stiffer one on the bottom to help with durability. It is board lasted, which means that the leather upper and the rubber soles are glued together, pretty much preventing these from ever being resoled. Getting the technical stuff out of the way, let's talk about styling and wear. These aren't my favorite looking sneakers, and I think the laces have a lot to do with that. The flat laces, along with the shiny eyelets, make these feel like some Converse Chuck Taylors made of bougie leather. The silhouette is the least minimal one here, with the heel sloping up heavily and the toe box being wide. The break-in period isn't the worst, but they did squeak a good amount on the first few wears. The logo stamped inside is already coming off, but that's not the biggest deal for me. Besides the eyelets, my least favorite thing about this shoe is how the tongue buckles and lifts where it meets the toe box. I'm not sure if this is because of how I have them laced, or if it's because that's where the tongue padding ends, but it leaves a prominent crease and lifted area when these are on feet. On a side note, I found a few cases on Reddit where the shoes differ from pair to pair based off where they're made. Thursday claims that this is because of different factory locations, but variations this large might be a red flag for you. I'll link the thread below if you want to look more into it. All that being said, these are a solid pair for someone just getting into leather sneakers. Although the color options are more limited than some of the other brands, they offer enough to get your basics covered. If you've mostly worn Converse, Stan Smiths, or Air Force Ones and want to venture into some more premium options, this is a good place to get your feet wet without breaking the bank. You're getting great leather while sacrificing some styling and construction, but that's likely why they're able to come in at this price point. Next up we have Uniform Standard Series 1 coming in at 140 British pounds, which is roughly $167 as of me posting this video. It's pretty easy to find a 10% off code, which I'll add to the description, to bring these down to $150. I got these in their classic triple white in a size 43 after they recommended me to size up from what I wear in common projects. They fit as I wanted them to. Uniform Standard is based out of East London, with the shoes being made in Portugal with Italian leather. They're a newer company started in 2018, and I couldn't find too many reviews on them, so I decided to give them a shot. The leather was stiff coming out of the box, but you can really sense the quality. The outer is made from a full-grain Italian calf leather that's sourced from environmentally friendly tanneries. The inner leather feels slightly more supple and features a non-slip suede rear that's much more textured than most. Sock lint tends to get caught up in this, but it's not the biggest deal. The sole is made of partially recycled rubber and is fairly tall at 1.5 inches compared to the rest. On foot, it feels near identical to the rest of the shoes, so not much to say here, but it does feel more durable than Thursday's. The leather-lined foam insole provides cushioning on the heel and features an activated carbon coating to help with odors. These are pretty minimal in their shape and feature some tasteful branding with stitching details on the rear and the debossed uniform on the left foot and standard on the right. The toe box is wider than the rest, but they don't look bulky by any means. They were the most comfortable out of the box, and I'd recommend them for people with wider feet trying to find some minimal leather sneakers. I especially like the outer heel, which slopes inward to follow the natural shape of your foot, while giving these a clean look from the rear and side. Why do you keep pinning up? We're talking about the shoes. Oh, you want more details of the jeans? These jeans are from my company, Days of September, and is the best way you can support the channel. They're selvage jeans with stretch in them for added comfort. This isn't a merch line or anything of that nature, as the denim brand has been around since before the channel, and the jeans took nearly 2 years to perfect before we launched our first pair. Everything from the fabric, the washes, and the details have been meticulously thought out. You'll find new details hidden throughout the jeans the more and more you wear them. I think they're a steal at around $75 right now with our current Black Friday deal. I'd love for you guys to consider them if you're in the market for a pair of denim. I really think y'all love them. Okay, now back to the shoes. There wasn't much to say about these shoes in general, which is kind of telling on how to sum these up. They're a solid, reliable pair coming in at a decent price point with no frills attached to them. They're about as boring as it gets, which is actually a compliment because that's kind of the point of minimal leather sneakers. After you cross the $200 mark, you're pretty much going to be getting the same features and build quality throughout. Oliver Cabell was out to directly compete with Common Projects, as we'll see with all the similarities. These are the Oliver Cabell low ones in a nude colorway in a size 9, which ended up fitting like a EU 42. Their pricing really annoys me as they run sales every day and change the base price frequently depending on what % they feel like giving off that day. The final price is pretty much always $209, which is still up from the $188 that they used to be. Nonetheless, they're the cheapest, made in Italy with Italian leather and Italian soles showcased in this video. The leather on these sneakers is amongst the best. There have been reports that it's even sourced from the same Italian tanneries that Common Project uses. The inner and upper is made from full-grain Italian calfskin leather and is dyed in this pinkish nude color. It's been surprisingly more versatile than I expected. The leather is stiffer than most of the others, making it slightly harder to break in, but the wider cut helps with these not making my feet hurt initially like some of the others did. The soles are made by a brand called Margam, which is the industry standard in this price range. They're also made in Italy, and the best brands around the world use them. The durability and leather quality are very high, delaying signs of heel drag and flat spots. The sole is shorter than the rest, measuring in at less than an inch at its tallest point. The minimal styling is really showcased on this sneaker compared to prior ones and compete directly with Common Projects. They are cut low and feature minimal padding. There is some foam padding around the ankle and in the tongue, but not as much as Thursday or Uniform Standard. The branding is minimal with the screen printed gold logo on the tongue and on the rear. I really like the angled touch on the tongue and the overall paneling of the shoe. The toe box has a subtle taper to it, a slight nod to what Common Projects is known for. The construction on these is where most of your money goes. The sole is stitched, glued, and nailed to the upper. A shank is present in the sole to prevent them from overflexing. The footbed is made of fiberboard, which is supposed to be easy for your feet to conform to, but mine have been struggling for some reason, causing them to still feel hard. These are machine lasted, unlike the hand lasted Common Projects and the Crown Northamptons. The inserts feature the same leather as the inner and a subtle spongy feel. In terms of construction and features, these are identical to Common Projects. My pair had some inconsistencies with the stitching on the leather and on the midsole, which is pretty disappointing at this price point. Other reviews on Reddit have also pointed out some quality control issues with Oliver Cabell, so be sure to inspect your pair well upon receiving them. This is going to be your entry-level Italian minimal sneaker. Although it's still over $200, it's still a competitive price for everything you're getting. Koyo capris are up next, coming in currently at $221, but normally at $295. They suggested sizing down unless I had a wide foot, so I went with the size 9 in this limestone colorway. It's a stunning cream beige color that I've really been digging recently. A great departure from the normal white and gray I wear. These are also fully made in Italy, from the assembly to the leather and the soles themselves. Koyo uses full grain cow leather for the inner and the outer. They feel very similar to Common Projects leather, and they're not as stiff as Oliver Cabell's. These feature the same margam soles as the Common Projects and the Oliver Cabell's that we talked about. The construction is also very similar to the Common Projects and the Oliver Cabell's, with the margam outsoles, the filler foam, the heel nails, the compressed cardboard, the steel shank, the fiberboard insoles all being the same. The inserts differ slightly, being made by Ortholite, and provide a nice subtle bounce to your walk, which makes these very comfortable compared to the others. The counter is also different, being made of reinforced fabric that won't break or snap when bent. The sidewall is stitched to the leather without glue being used, allowing you to resole these if need be. The raw leather edges are also painted to give them a cleaner look and prevent stains from denim. They do feature more paneling than the Common Projects, which one could argue is less minimal, but I find them to be tastefully done with the stepped layers. The toes have an aggressive taper and are narrower than the Oliver Cabell's but wider than the Common Projects. It's a stunning shape and the silhouette is near identical to the Common Projects. The tongue has no padding at all, which allows the natural leather to shine through, which I think is a nice touch. The ankle and heel has more padding than the Common Projects, causing them to look ever so slightly bulkier, but it's honestly marginal. While the Oliver Cabell's were identical in construction and build to the Common Projects, these are identical in construction, build, and styling. It's genuinely hard to tell the difference unless you have a trained eye, and they come in significantly cheaper. There is more branding with the Koyo lettering debossed into the heel's leather, the outsole, and the tongue, but it being tone on tone makes it a bit more subtle. Overall, I think this is a great pickup, especially if you can catch them on sale at $221. You're getting stellar construction, great looks, Italian made, and a plethora of colors, all for under $250. We're down to our last two, starting with the Crown Northampton Harlestone Hand Stitch Derby in black Horween buffalo leather. These are 100% made in, as the name suggests, Northampton, England, with many methods that are typically seen on hand-welted dress shoes. These are in a completely different league compared to the rest of the ones here today, and might be the nicest pair of leather sneakers on the market in terms of quality and construction. Noting that they're still cheaper than the Common Projects, coming in at $400. The brand has been around for over 100 years and they're still making shoes exactly as they used to be made, which is the best possible compliment I can give in a fast fashion day and age. The buffalo Horween leather on these is phenomenal. It's tanned in America with a combination of vegetable and chrome tanning. The tanning process reduces the hide roughly 30%, causing the fibers to be pulled tighter, making the leather tougher and more durable than others, while still being buttery smooth. They leave a natural finish on the leather, causing each pair to look slightly different from the other. There's a natural pebbling and rippling across these that can't be compared to regular cowhide. They're available in plenty of leather finishes and colors for you to choose from. There's a stunning British racing green shade that I've been eyeing lately. Leathers like these are typically reserved for high-end dress shoes, retailing in the thousands, so it's nice seeing them make their way into a $400 pair of sneakers. Anchoring it down are soles handmade in France by Lacte Havea. They're made from a latex rubber that goes through a 12-day curing process that gives them unrivaled comfort with a cushiony feel while still remaining durable. These feel like Ultra Boosts compared to the rest of the lineup. Since they're made to order, you can actually choose your sole color. I opted for this off-white one, but they also have a gum and a black colored one. I think a pure white would be a nice option to add, as they'd go really well with the colors Crown Northampton offers. The lack of glue used to secure these allows them to be fully resoled in the future if need be. The construction is where this thing really shines. There is no padding anywhere on the sneaker, really allowing the leather to be the sole star. The footbed is cork filled by hand, which will compress and allow your feet to mold to the bed, giving these a semi-Birkenstock type feel over time. The heel counter is made from oak bark leather, which is the best it gets, and they use a full vegetable tan leather for the inner lining. Brands normally skimp here because you don't really need the best leather on the inside, but I'm glad Crown Northampton took the extra step. As the model suggests, the only sign of branding are 3 pairs of hand stitches on each shoe, 2 in the front and 1 in the rear. The laces feel like they were taken off a pair of their nicest dress shoes. These are as minimal as they get, with no unnecessary padding or logos. Even the dust bags were super high quality and impressive enough to note. They feature a straight silhouette with a slight taper once you hit the toe box. They're handmade, so they do take some time to come in, but boy are they worth waiting for. These are by far the best and highest quality sneakers here, and will only look better as more and more miles are put on them. Even though they're priced at $400, stacking them against the rest of these doesn't seem fair. They seem to be in a category of their own, with insanely high attention to detail and oozing quality throughout. If you want the best crafted shoe that'll last decades, so long as you resold them, look no further than these. It's reassuring to know that there are still brands out there who don't want clout or hype and just want to produce the best possible item they can at a reasonable price point for what you're getting. If Common Projects made a shoe of this caliber, I have no doubts that it'd be priced no less than 4 figures. Before we tally everything up, I just wanted to tell you about our sponsor, American Giant. After coming out on top for the head-to-head between hoodies in the last video, I've had the chance to get to know the team over at American Giant really well. One thing led to another, and they agreed to sponsor this video since sneakers and hoodies are basically a daily uniform for our generation. American Giant has been making the classic zip hoodie for 10 years now and wanted to celebrate with an updated version. This is a hoodie that was given the title Greatest Hoodie Ever Made by multiple publications. This hoodie, like all their products, is made in America with American cotton. It's a zipped version of the hoodie I reviewed in that previous video, but features all the same benefits. The double-lined hood, heavy hardware, reinforced elbows, and thick cuffs make this thing feel invincible. For them to introduce a new version of an age-old product that put their company on the map is a huge deal. They introduced the relaxed fit, classic, full zip earlier this month, and it might be my new favorite hoodie. They added a drop shoulder, loosened the stomach area, and made it shorter overall to modernize this 10-year-old design. Very subtle changes, but it transformed the hoodie. It still features the same details as the original, with the hoodie being made in North Carolina with South Carolina cotton. I love their large hood, the deep pockets, and the multiple neutral and pastel colors that they offer. Their customer service is stellar, and they're willing to work with you if anything goes wrong with the hoodie. They offered us 20% off with code September, bringing it just north of $100. For a hoodie that comes with a lifetime warranty, is made domestically, and is super comfortable, it's practically a steal. Mine has only gotten better with age. Thanks again to American Giant for making this video possible. We're down to our last one. We all know Common Projects and what they offer by now, so I'll keep it brief as it's pretty much exactly the same as Koyo and the Oliver Cabells. They feature a compressed leather counter, unlike Crown Northampton's full oak bark leather. The Margam sole is secured with stitches on the side, so they'll be able to be resoled if need be. The heel is hand-lasted and features brass nails to give it extra durability. The Common Projects pioneered this entire minimal leather sneaker thing and have remained a cult favorite. I've been a fan for the longest time, but as I said in the first video on this channel, at $425, they just aren't worth it, especially with the Crown Northamptons providing the level of sneaker they do at $50 cheaper, and Koyo matching Common Projects at sub $300. However, there is an element of design that needs to be taken into consideration. So what am I going to be replacing my beat up Common Projects with? The thing I look for most in minimal leather sneakers are that narrow silhouette, tapered toe, and minimal padding. In my opinion, it's this combination that helps these shoes go so well with everything you throw at them. As similar as the Koyos are, I still think this Common Projects look marginally better, which is why I'll be opting for a fresh pair of those that I picked up on sale. However, different scenarios warrant different pickups for me. If I need a pair of minimal leather sneakers ASAP and I don't have time to wait for the Common Projects to go on sale, I'm going with Koyo. If I want the best of the best with attention to detail second to none, I'm going with Crown Northampton. If I'm new to the minimal sneaker game and want to get my feet wet, I'd start with Uniform Standard, as they're quite a big jump up in quality than Thursdays. The Oliver Cabells are a nice entry to the Italian sneaker and may be better for people with wider feet. In terms of aesthetic, I'm sticking with the Common Projects, followed by Koyo, Crown Northampton, Oliver Cabell, Uniform Standard, then Thursday. In terms of quality, I'm going with the Crown Northamptons and tie the Koyo, Common Projects, and the Uniform Standard since they're all built nearly the same. I'll follow this up by Oliver Cabell due to the quality control issues they face and finish it up with Thursday. I think the Uniform Standard takes the prize when it comes to value since it gives you similar constructions to the Italian shoes while coming in at a significantly lower cost. This was a super fun video to make. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for a lot more to come soon. Take care, guys.